Hello and welcome to the first part of my tutorial series about the very basics of Python. And yeah, I already made a Python tutorial which was a little bit more advanced, and it had a kinda higher difficulty level. And this is about the very basics, so if you're new to programming, new to coding, you are very welcome. Don't be confused about some of the phrases I use. Some stuff I'm telling, yeah, you will get it maybe later, maybe now, and just follow the steps and you will get used to a lot of things from time to time. Python is a wonderful language, and yes, let's start. In this part we are just installing Python, testing the shell, and we are downloading and installing an IDE, which is an environment for coding, which makes coding a little bit easier, or not only a little bit more easier, because every mistake, every miscoding, it is marked as a mistake or marked as an issue. So I guess you will need an IDE for the start. So there are many good tutorials about the Python basics. I just wanted to set up my own tutorial series where I can refer to the videos later on. Okay, now let's get started finally. So first of all, we are going to the web page of Python, which is python.org. We don't want to use a web store. We want to install it with, for example, Apple Store or the Windows Store. I don't know what is the name. Oh, here I can see it, Microsoft Store. No, we don't want to use it. We want to download and install it from the web page. So we are clicking on downloads, and now we are using, or we have to choose which version we want to choose. I prefer a little bit older version. It is 3.10.11. You can download one of the newer versions. I don't recommend to download the latest version. You can get a little bit lower, for example 3.10 or 3.11, but for learning the basics it doesn't really matter which version you're using. So now we have to choose the right version. We have to scroll down. I scroll down obviously. And yes, I'm downloading the Windows installer 64-bit. Click on the download. I will add a python.xpath. Install now. I will just use the default options, no advanced options. Now he's installing. And we should finish in a few seconds. So setup was successful. We can close it, and now we can enter the shell for the very first time. Here we have the shell, and yes, to open the Python shell we can just type py. To exit the shell we can type exit. We can type Python to enter the shell. We can type, maybe Python 3 should work. No, it doesn't. Now he is opening the web store, but we don't want it. Okay, if I type Python 3.11, will this work? No. Okay, Python or Py will work. So we don't wanna use the shell that many often. In the shell we can, for example, test stuff and functions. But yeah, that's all about the shell in this part, because yeah, the basics are much easier to learn if you use an IDE, and that's what we wanna download now. So now we just googled PyCharm, and yes, I for example googled PyCharm download community edition, and what we're gonna head to is the other versions of Python, because we want to choose the community edition. The professional edition is perfect, but it is not for free. So to have a free IDE, we use the community edition. There are also wonderful IDEs which are not PyCharm, but for this tutorial we are just using PyCharm. So we wanna download it for Windows. It's downloading. Download is complete. Yes, now we are setting it up. I can use the yes, we want to update the path, and yes, PyCharm Community Edition. We want to create a desktop because that doesn't really matter. We can just use the default options. An open folder as a project is always nice, so we don't have to create a new project. Yeah, and we want to update the path variable. Installing it, this will take some time. So now the setup is finished. I want to manually reboot later. Okay, now we can start PyCharm. Yes, I agree everything. I confirm. And now we can create a new project. We can just use the default variables. He already realized that our interpreter is Python 10. Perfect. And yes, here is our first project. So now we can write our first program. And this is called, yes, Hello World. So what we're gonna do, we just want to simply write a program which gives us back Hello World. So what we're gonna need is need is the print function. And in PyCharm, if we wanna type in something, the program is already guessing which you wanna or what code you wanna write. So when I type PR, he already guessed I want to print something or use the print function. And what we're gonna print is Hi World. So to run a program, we have to click on Run Main. We can also use Shift and F10. And now we have this little console, which you can clearly see Hi World, which is what we wanted to print. We wanted to print Hi World on the console. And yeah, we succeeded. That's all for this part. On the next part, we are doing much more interesting stuff than that. This was just setting everything up and writing Hello World. I hope this wasn't too confusing. Maybe the next part will get a lot of easier or a little... Yes. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you on the next part. Goodbye, have a nice day or evening because it's really late. Bye bye. Hello and welcome to the first part of my tutorial series about teaching. No. So here we are again. Now I downloaded. Okay. Hello, welcome to the first part of my tutorial series about the basics of Python. And first of all, I know there are, well, I fucked up.